What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Cashed Out. And today we're going to be talking about another AI content writer. We're going to be talking about the Neuronwriter. And this is a very good and useful writer that I didn't know much about until I came across it on AppSumo. That's become like my favorite website. I keep finding things and spending money on apps that help my life, but I also need to kind of scale back a little bit. It's kind of getting crazy. But anyway, Neuronwriter is an awesome writer, and for only $59 for a lifetime pass, it's a very good deal as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about the writer. I'm going to do a quick overview about the experience of setting up the project, the experience with the writer, and a little bit of the pros and cons of some of the things that I liked and didn't like about using this writer. So let's dig right into it. To start off, we're going to go ahead and do a quick overview of the process of using Neuronwriter. Now, the first thing that you want to do when you're getting started with a new project is you want to provide a domain name for that project. So in this example, I just put in the cashedout.com website, and after that, what you want to do is enter the search query for what you'd like to create content for. And it really is nice because you can choose, in this case, I just used AI content writer or content generator. And you can also add additional keywords if you wanted to be able to analyze some other keywords besides your initial query. So you fill those out in here. And then after that, it'll take a little while for it to run the content analysis. So it's going to go ahead and do that analysis for you before we start off the project. And once the analysis is done, you're going to be able to see the top ranking competitors for the content that you're trying to work on. And it'll also allow you to be able to choose, I think it says it recommends up to 5, but to be able to choose which competitors you want to focus on, which ones you want to target in order to create content that'll better compete and match up with them. So for this example, I just basically picked the ones that were the top performing ones, some of the top ranked content on there, and I was able to just select those and continue through. Once you do this, it's going to go ahead and take those competitors and take the content from them and start to allow you to optimize your content to better match up and compete against those specific competitors. So now that we've got the analysis complete, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the layout of the writer. So looking at the layout, you've got the main edited section right here, kind of taking up most of the screen. And on the right side, you can actually see the suggested term section as well. The suggested terms are the terms that the analysis has pulled out from your competitors to tell you which ones are recommended to be used within your content. And as you use these terms, they're going to start turning green for the ones that you've used at just the right amount. It's going to turn yellow for the ones that you can still use a little bit more, and it'll turn red for the ones that you've used too much or you need to scale back on. So very helpful, very useful when you're doing your writing on the editing section. Now, something that I did like is the ideas tab that's over here on the right as well. And the ideas tab allows you to be able to get suggestions for different parts of your writing. So if you need a suggestion or an idea for your title, or you need a suggestion for your H2, H3 sections, it'll give you some ideas based on the competitive research that it did, and you can basically just copy and paste it and be able to work off of that. So it's really helpful in terms of giving you a starting point to be able to create the writing and the content that you want to put in order to compete with those websites that you chose earlier. So very useful tool right there. Now, when it comes to the actual AI writing output, this is where we start to get our hands on that here. Now, in order to get access to that, what you want to do is once you've typed something or if you've entered a title, you can highlight whatever you've written and basically select AI expand to allow you to be able to give you some more expansion on that topic and for it to give you some writing suggestions on that topic. Now, a cool feature of this writer is that it allows you to be able to choose the level of creativity that you want the AI output to have. So you can choose either like a low creativity where the output is a little bit more reliable, kind of a little bit more standard based on what the competitors are writing, or you can choose kind of a high creativity output, which allows it to be a little bit more creative, but the reliability of the output is going to be a little bit lower. So you might get a little bit more of a mixed bag in terms of the output there, but you get to decide that. You can choose either to go on the high end of creativity or the low end, or maybe somewhere right in the middle. So that's kind of a cool feature. I haven't really seen that in other writers that I've used before or tested out before. So it's a really cool feature to see that it's included in here. So now that we've covered the basics of using this writer, let's go ahead and talk about the pros and cons that I've seen so far over the past week or so of using this writer. Now, I'm sure I'll come across more as I use it for a longer period of time, but I just wanted to give you guys my feedback on it so far. And the first thing that I do like about this is that it uses NLP, which is natural language programming, for the AI responses that you get back. Now, this allows you to be able to get more human-like, more conversational-like output in terms of the AI writer, which is very nice. And from what I've seen, that's pretty accurate. Like the responses have been pretty good, and they do have a good, more conversational style to them. And you can tell that it's there. Obviously, Surfer SEO and some other more pricey SEOs also use NLP, but you're paying a premium for that, and you're paying a monthly premium for that, which leads me to my second pro for this package, for this program, I guess, is that it's only $59 for a lifetime access. And that lifetime access is awesome. And that's part of the reason why I like AppSumo so much, is because you do get that lifetime access with these apps. But basically with $59, you're getting the same type of features that you'd be paying a monthly premium for with Surfer SEO or with Jasper, or that combination of both. But you're getting the editor, you're also getting the SEO abilities of it, and allowing you to be able to kind of have those suggested terms. And it actually gives you a lot. It gives you a lot of features. And in terms of like the competitive analysis, the level of detail that it gives you with that competitive analysis is phenomenal. I mean, you can break down everything from like the structure of your competitors. You can get like title breakdowns, you can get keyword ideas, you can get related searches, a ton of competitive analysis. I was actually very impressed with how much competitive data you're able to get using this program. So that's very useful, huge pro in terms of what it gives you for that $59 purchase price, which is insane to think about. You're getting a lot for a little amount of money. So those are my pros in terms of this software. Very useful, very good. I've liked the experience of it so far, but there's a couple cons, just a couple of things that I didn't like in terms of using this writer. The first con that I didn't like with this writer, it goes back to the output. Now the output is good, but I feel like it's not as expansive, it's not as robust as what you're gonna get from Jasper or Word Hero or some of these other more dedicated writers. I feel like the output is solid, it's conversational like we talked about earlier, but it's not as good as you're gonna get from some of these other writers. Now it may have been just my experience so far, because I've only used it for about a week or so, and I'll keep an eye on it. I'm gonna use it long term and see how things go, but I just feel like the output level is a little bit lower. It's still good, like don't get me wrong, it's not horrible, but it's just not as good as some of the other writers. Now another con, and just something that I didn't like about this writer, is that you don't have the ability to downvote poor completions. So when the AI gives you a poor completion in terms of its suggestions or expansions or whatever, you can't downvote that completion. You can choose to not use it or choose to have it just retry and give you another completion, but you can't downvote it and tell it that I didn't like that. So I don't know if they have like an algorithm or something in the background that tells it that if I don't use the completion, that that's a bad completion. There's really no way to distinguish that. That's one feature that I did like with Jasper, is that you were able to downvote bad completions and it would learn from those and give you some better suggestions most of the time. Some of the times it would give you the exact same thing, but for the most part, that downvote usually helped a lot. Maybe that's something that's already a feature that I'm just overlooking, but I think that would be a good add-on feature to allow you to be able to downvote bad completions and have it adjust for the future ones. But the cool thing is that it does have credits, so it has credits that are tied to those AI completions. So if you use the AI to complete or expand on your content, it's going to trickle down your credits, but if you don't use the poor completion, it doesn't trickle that down. So that's a good thing. You're not getting charged credits for poor completions. It's just that I don't think it's learning. You don't have a way to be able to teach it that this is a poor completion and to have it kind of learn and be able to grow from there. So that's the only other con that I've seen from using it. So overall, I mean, I think for the price, this is a very good and useful tool, and I'm excited to keep digging into it. I really think the strengths of it lie in the ability to be able to get that NLP suggestions, the term suggestions, and that competitive analysis, that whole section from the ideas to the keyword terms to the content analysis of your competitors, everything from like the structure of their content to the keywords and the terms that they're using. That's just phenomenal. I love that part of it, and I think that's very beneficial overall. And the ability to be able to use the editor and be able to work with it using the AI content ideas, I think that's very useful. So all in all, Neuronwriter is a very good writer, and like I said, this is just my initial overall experience. As I use it more, I'll be able to give you guys a little bit more in depth of it. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope this helped you out. If you like this video, be sure to go ahead and like it below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and tune in next time right here on Cashed Out. All right, take it easy, guys.